Kezdődjön már! Kezdődjék! De figyelj már, Benni, tegnap este nem sikerült kijutni TCM-ből egyszer sem? De azonnal kijutottam, meg is nyertétek a pontokat, akik Viktorira raktak. Vagy lehet, hogy nem osztottam ki a pontokat? De szerintem kiosztottam. Azonnal. Az új killerről, persze, az új killerről is beszélni fognak, ez 100%. Az új szerviről, ha van, az új mapról, ha van. Mindenről beszélni fognak. Ez a legnagyobb event az egész DBD univerzumban. Ez a legnagyobb stream ever, minden évben. Ez a legizgalmasabb, itt minden kiderül. Szervusz, Csabi! Remélem fogják kérdezni, hogy kitáltak ki, hogy a legjobb patch lesz. Várjuk meg az új killer perkeket egyébként, meg az új szervi perkeket. Mert lehet, hogy azért balanszoltak ki, így mindjárt meglátjuk. Valószínűleg előre gondolkodtak. Switch Progress, te izgi. Mind a 3 használó, így van. Apa kezdődik? Pont időben. Szia Réleg, szia mindenkinek. Nem kaptál pontot? Mindjárt ránézek. Vagy olyan kevés volt? Valószínűleg kevés volt, mert mindenki arra jutott, hogy ki fogok rakni. Kik ezek a nagyon sminkelt nénik? Valami Queennek hívják őket, vagy minek. Ez egy ilyen stílus. Drag Queenek. Na nézzük, 60 millió player, ugye kaptunk erről egy kódot is, emlékszem. Valószínűleg kapunk majd BP kódokat is, amúgy arra is figyeljünk. Azokat majd írjuk össze. Valószínűleg lesznek extra BP kódok, meg csomó minden. Mennyire más volt a game, hiányzik? Nagyon nosztalgikus ezeket mindig visszanézni. For sure. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Na nézzük.
We are live. Thank you everybody for joining us. That trailer gets me so hyped.
So hyped, oh my goodness. It's so good. And the jump scare at the end is necessary.
Nagyon szépen köszi a 100 bitet.
Hi everybody around the world and YouTube and Twitch and OpenRec. We're in Japanese, we're in Portuguese, we are in Spanish and of course English because that's what we're capable of. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is DBD's official 8th anniversary celebration.
Yes, and it's truly amazing to already know that
Te vagy már milyen jó, Adrus. Megy a drop nálam is, akkor most már tudjátok a dropot szerezni.
On behalf of the entire Dead by Daylight team for 8 amazing years of support from community worldwide.
Kösz szépen az infót, Fankó. Mostantól akkor, hogyha össze van kötve a fiókotok, már kapjátok a dropokat. Gyűjtetitek. Itt nálam is. D&D. Hangot?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But this wouldn't be a Dead by Daylight anniversary live stream without a couple of surprises. So you're definitely going to want to stay for the full broadcast to see everything we've got to reveal today. But we've also got a live Q&A. So if you have any questions, please do make sure to drop them in your respective chats so we can answer as many as possible at the end of the stream.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and take a look at what our run of show is for today.
Yep, we've got a great one lined up. We're going to be joined by our bud.
Így van, ezt már láttam. Szóval roadmap, gameplay romance, az új chapter, what lies ahead, mi várható a jövőben, az in-game cucc és a live Q&A.
Senior Product Manager Derek is going to join us to talk about upcoming gameplay and quality of life improvements coming.
A Grimre ez nem lehet, hogy utalás. Mire?
That you're not going to want to miss.
Még mindig Hulk?
And then we'll have Dave and Janik here to reveal everything coming with the latest chapters for Dead by Daylight.
Még mindig Hulk, srácok?
Updates about the other projects we've got in the world of DBD.
Szia Ludeti, szia. Örülök neki, hogy beindult.
Unnamed multiplayer PvE game by Midwinter.
Nem Hulk, új mapra.
Justin, a completely different Justin from the one Eric talked about. Coming in to break down this year's in-game shenanigans for the anniversary. And last, we'll have our Q&A.
Nekem jó hangos.
Once again, drop your questions in the chat so we can answer as many as possible. And who knows, we might have some other little surprises.
Én még túl hangos.
Dropping your questions, we thought we would drop some content on you. You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
I just made that up. Twitch drops.
Én mindig hangosabb vagyok, mint a stream.
So if you watched our streams before, we like to offer Twitch drops to our viewers, and today is no exception. So they're live right now, and you can get them by connecting your behavior account to your Twitch account. So there should be a QR code you can see. There should be links in the Twitch chat to jump over and get that hooked up if you're not already.
Yes, and if you're new to Twitch drops with Dead by Daylight, all you need to know is that by watching any Dead by Daylight stream in the Twitch directory, you'll be accruing watch time, which will allow you to claim 3 of the Twitch drops we have active today until May 28th. The first one, if you've already been with us since the start, you're already on your way to claiming, which is going to be the Totem in-game badge. And then after this, if you watch any other Dead by Daylight stream for 4 hours, you'll get the Crimson Hue in-game banner. And then lastly, for 8 years, 8 watching time, you'll be able to get the Greenville, Welcome to Greenville in-game banner.
Yep, so enjoy those drops, but we mentioned surprises, and we've got one to kick the show off with. So the first of which is actually a new game.
Oh my God, what?
Oh my God.
We've got a game that we haven't told anybody about yet. It's from the world of Dead by Daylight. We're going to share it with you right now. It features some familiar faces.
What the fuck?
Most importantly, it is super duper fun, and I think you'll be surprised. So let's take a look.
What the hell? Ez mi? Jaj, ember, én meg full felhájpolódtam, tesó. Oh no. What the fuck? Oh, ja, de rendes játék. Na várjál. Azt hittem, hogy egy IRL game, nem ilyen.
Run, jump, and shoot to collect points to repair generators, increasing your powers along the way. Unlock the door to escape together.
Ez mi?
Did you just die? It's not over yet. Use spells to keep your friend alive until they can revive you. Do you and your friend have what it takes to survive? Ponder this as you ask yourselves. What the fuck?
Get the game for free? Mit a behavior account? Jó, az nekünk van amúgy. Érdekes, azt hiszem, hogy hirtelen egy ilyen játék, egy társas játék lesz, egy ilyesmi.
The game itself is like the guitar solo of video games.
Yeah, like I'm already gonna walk away and just okay. But anyway, yes, you saw that correctly. What the Fog is now available, and it's not only that, but it's free for current behavior account holders and new subscribers. But we do have a limit of free keys, so you're gonna want to make sure that you make your behavior account after the stream, of course, or in another tab. Just don't leave. But go ahead and grab that, claim it on your account, and if you're unable to, then you're able to get it on Steam, which is exclusively on Steam for $4.99
Steam.
USD.
Yep, and as you might expect with the drops, now a free game. A lot of people watching the stream. There might be some load on our behavior login system, so if there is,
ingyenes a behavior-akkal, nem? Steam-en meg 5 euró.
So as you might have been able to tell from that
What the Fog, az a neve.
What the Fog. Just the best title. Is a 2-person co-op roguelite. The simple goal of surviving and escaping with each increasingly difficult level.
Ezt játszani fogjuk.
Go head to head with swarms of monsters and bosses, and as we mentioned, lots of heavy metal guitar.
Csak ki kell találjam, hogy kivel duózok majd.
I got to play it before launch, and honestly, it was so crazy fun. Like, I had that song stuck in my head for weeks. But you need to make sure that you get your hands on it so that you can have fun, survive, and then get the fog out.
Nice. So, that out of the way. See, you weren't
nem tudom, hogy élnie.
Wait, what? Surprises.
We're going to dive into the show. So we're going to hand things over to Stefan and Justin to talk about Dead by Daylight's Year 9 roadmap.
Na nézzük a roadmap-et, ez nagyon izgi lesz. Mi várható a 9. évben? Egészen most jövő ilyen eddig, ugye? Nagyjából mire számíthatunk? Sziasztok, most jöttem, mi volt eddig? Eddig? Műsor. Szülinapi műsor. Egy teljesen új DBD-s játék jön. Ingyenesen. Hát ezt gondolom, ha ilyenkor be vannak fagyva a cuccok. Ja, most mindenki a BV oldalán van, szóval azonnal befagyott, gondolom. Majd később be tudjátok claimelni, akinek van behavior és aki annak ingyenes, amúgy 5 euró a játék, what the fog. Amit a what the fuck, ugye, csak what the fog a címe, mint köd. Szia Bernadett! Mi a new update? Még semmi. Hangot? Mi van a hanggal? Nem tudok rá. Maxon vagyunk, srácok. Eddig sosem mondtátok, hogy rossz a hang amúgy. Mindig ilyen hanggal vagyunk.
Thank you for joining us. It's great to be back with you celebrating Dead by Daylight's 8th year anniversary. I'm Stefan Beauchamp, head of production.
And I am Justin
Vagy ilyet tudok csinálni.
Really excited to be here with you today to talk a little bit about Dead by Daylight's.
Így elég hangos?
I'm going to take a second here at the top of the show to give a big shout out to our absolutely phenomenal team that's working on the game day in, day out. They are the reason we are here with you today and celebrate 8 amazing years of Dead by Daylight.
Yep, yeah.
Before going any further, I just want to address something that's probably going to get talked about quite a bit in the chats across the different channels. We know since the last update, there's been a rubber banding issue that's been plaguing the game. The team has been working extremely hard at it over the last few weeks. We have a tentative fix that the team has been working on that we're hoping to test on the PTB later today. If everything is successful with that, we will be deploying that fix to live, and hopefully it should improve the situation. But it's still to be confirmed. So keep an eye on our channel.
Okay.
So that we'll keep you all posted about this. Moving into
Szegény, hogy
the future a
izgul.
little bit. The coming year for Dead by Daylight is going to be huge, and that's saying something coming off of our biggest year to date. Since the last anniversary, we have released amazing licensed content such as Alien, Chucky, Alan Wake, and a personal favorite of mine, Nick Cage, such an amazing addition to the game. On top of that, we've also released our most popular original chapter to date, All Things Wicked.
Of course, and we can't forget, we did the Halloween event, which was bigger and better than ever with the introduction of the Void. This year, we introduced the concept of modifiers in Dead by Daylight, starting in February, Lights Out. We followed it with My Little Oni, and soon, later this week, we'll introduce Chaos Shuffle, the third one. We took a few steps towards improving the player experience between anti-face camp, blood web UX improvements, the killer FOV slider, the search bar. So there's a lot there. And finally, we've taken a few big steps towards increasing our transparency, our communication with regular live streams on each of our content releases thus far.
Enough talking about the past, let's dive into the future and what's really coming up for this year. We're happy to announce today that we have 6 new chapters currently in the works, and 2 of those chapters will be survivor-only chapters for this year. On top of that, we'll have the usual 4 new tomes that are going to be coming out spread throughout the year. As we've talked a little bit and teased even earlier last week, the first chapter that's going to be coming out is Dungeons and Dragons.
Again?
And we're actually going to deep dive that in a soon-to-come segment shortly after this one, and it really promises to bring great gameplay and new characters to the world of Dead by Daylight.
Of course, we're going to follow that with a licensed survivor, a character who truly embodies the meaning of that word. After that, an iconic killer survivor duel will be coming into the fog, and if you stick around to the end of the show, you're going to get a little preview as to what that will be. We'll finish off 2024 with an original killer and survivor chapter, and we'll finish off the year 9 roadmap with a licensed killer-only chapter, followed by an original survivor-only.
It's a lot of stuff coming up. Moving a bit away from our content roadmap, we're going to take a closer look at the 4 pillars out of which the year will be based on. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, you'll see that there's consistency throughout the years with the 4 pillars that we're focusing on, but we're really adjusting the contents of each so that we're working on the features that have the most value and the most interest to all of our players in ways where we can expand the game further and further.
Of course, and we're going to start off with the trust and security pillar. Firstly, we're thrilled with the response to our regular broadcasts, and we're really happy to let you know you can fully expect more to come as we progress throughout the year, accompanying all of our major releases. Security is a topic we rarely talk about publicly for good reason. But one thing I will inform you all of is last year we set out to start tackling this AFK bots problem that we see, especially in some regions of the game. Phase 1 had very promising results, and we're certainly going to be taking that forward another step into Phase 2 in the coming year. Our next 2 pillars, live balance and quality of life, we won't discuss too much. Of course, you can expect regular live balance updates throughout the year and new quality of life, but my friend and colleague Derek will be coming up in the gameplay improvement segment to cover more on that topic, including an announcement on one of the most highly requested features ever in Dead by Daylight.
This one's going to be really, really exciting. Stay tuned for that, because that is really something interesting coming up. Last but not least, our fourth pillar, events evolution. Events have always been a fundamental part of the game, especially the seasonal events. And this is something we're going to keep pushing forward over the coming year. With this year, we're starting to do a bit of a split where we're going to have our events happening on a separate matchmaking queue, which essentially means that at any time there's an event ongoing, you can decide to still play normal Dead by Daylight if that's what you're looking for, but you can also go into the event-specific queue and play some of that gameplay. This is really going to allow us to push gameplay further and further away from the typical way Dead by Daylight normally works.
Szóval most az eventek külön queue-ba lesznek.
Approach events in a different way. On top of that, we can also expect
hogy akik nem tetszik, annak nem kell azt játszani. De
durva. The one we've talked about just before that are going to be revisited throughout the year, or introducing new modifiers that are either tweaks on something.
Ugyanúgy, mint a modifieröket, ugyanúgy fogjuk tudni játszani az eventeket külön.
Just a little sliver of what we're planning to do this year, and I think we have something a little bigger that might be coming up.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so happy to be here and let you guys know that for the first time ever, this summer, Dead by Daylight will have a new mode, not modifier, but a mode
egy új mód
to you all. We've been listening and hearing your feedback.
I'm
really happy to let you know that this summer, replacing Scorching Barbecue will be the first ever time-limited 2v8 mode in Dead by Daylight. We'll be doing a full breakdown of what this mode is when we get closer.
Let's fucking go!
For now, I'm going to thank my friend Stefan for joining me.
És ez nem modifier lesz, hanem egy rendes game mode.
Talk a little bit more about this, and here's a snippet.
Tesó! Slay, azt mondja! Slay, 2v8-on végre! Végre! 8 év után! 2v8! Na hát ezt szét fogunk grindolni, ez fix, ezt szét fogjuk grindolni. Atyavilág! Atyavilág! Hát ez nagyon nagy, hogy szaladnak! Futi! És ez nem egy kis modifier lesz, hanem ez egy teljes rendes game mód. Hoppá! Nem akasztások lesznek, hanem ilyen cage-ek. Entity cage-ek. De jó! Voice chat? Nem tudom, hogy lesz-e hozzá voice chat.
Boom. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
De
well, I know
jó!
it's still early and everything is
ez egy végleges game mód lesz,
I
gondolom.
think it's going to be really fun to sort of let the community in on some of our plans for this upcoming 2v8 introduction.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. So yeah, 2v8 is coming to DBD. This is a new game mode, which is really cool. Other gameplay events that we've done before, so Lights Out, My Little Oni, soon Chaos Shuffle, these are what we're calling modifiers. And modifiers basically take a DBD match, change a few things, but ultimately you're still playing DBD.
Igen, a modifierok azok nem olyan az nem olyan külön dolog.
We're fundamentally changing the way that you play.
Itt teljesen megváltozik, szóval nem lesz akasztás, gondolom, gen.
There's 2 killers, 8 survivors,
igen,
and a bunch of new changes that we're going to get into very shortly.
Mesélj!
The focus with 2v8, we really wanted to hone in on what's exciting and fun and chaotic with DBD. And we're leaning more into a party mode kind of vibe rather than something that's super competitive.
Ez nem lesz competitive, full
party
lesz.
It's also worth mentioning that the way that we're building this, it's an iterative process, right? And this is just the first iteration. So we'll be looking to add more content, more gameplay in the future based on community feedback.
Absolutely, and I'm super excited to see what everybody says about this mode when it comes out.
Meghalt a TCM egyébként, srácok, GG. Ez kinyírja a TCM-et valószínűleg.
This summer. I mean, of course, there's still generators, there's still exit gates, there's just more of them. We've made 5 maps bigger to accommodate all of the action, all of the chaos.
5 map, nagyobbak, lesz gen,
we're also
lesz exit
doing away with
gate.
perks in this mode, instead introducing a new sort of 2v8 exclusive system called classes for survivors.
That's right.
Class.
Yeah, so when it comes to survivors, basically, once you've chosen your character, you can select and equip a player class. And this class is effectively your power for the match. And it helps players identify what your role is within the team. So instead of mixing and matching perks, instead we really wanted to focus on a particular playstyle for this. And whether it's generator repair, healing, looping, speed, that kind of thing. That's what we're really going for with these classes.
Of course, and there's also just cowering in the corner, which is my own preferred play style for Survivor. which is great. And it'll work a little differently for killers. You'll be able to choose from one of the 5 original killers.
Oh,
each with their own
blind.
specific gameplay. Killers obviously have powers, so they don't have classes in this mode. But we will be introducing a new mechanic, which is a team power. For example, if you are the Wraith, when you cloak yourself, if your teammate is within a certain radius of you, they will also get the undetectable status effect, allowing you to coordinate a sort of team stealth attack.
What the fuck? Ő is izé lesz. Hát nem láthatatlan, de undetectable lesz, hogyha mellette klókolsz.
Original killers is just to make sure that this is as accessible as possible. They're all free. Everybody can play them. Everybody can have fun. We want you to enjoy the content and give us your feedback.
Nem kell semmi pénzt költened rá.
Part of this whole mode is the 2. It's the first time ever that success and failure as a killer does not rely solely on your shoulders. You have a teammate to sort of benefit from, learn from, or even, blame.
Bubával se lehet majd játszani, csak az 5 eredeti killerrel lehet játszani ezt a módot.
So much more fun, so much more efficient.
Hogy mindenkinek ingyenes legyen.
Lastly, it's worth mentioning that for this mode, we really wanted to keep the action pace and the momentum flowing. During our playtests, we found that the process of downing a survivor, picking them up, carrying them to the hook, it really started to slow things down for this mode in particular. So we're doing away with hooks as well. There's no hooks in 2v8.
Nem lesznek hookok.
Once the killer downs a survivor, they'll be able to send them to a cage.
Pyramis power.
To Pyramid Head, and teleport the survivor to another part of the map, away from the killers. And of course, this still counts as hook states. So once you've been hooked 3 times, you'll be out of the match.
Így van. Ugyanaz a 3 HP-d lesz.
Before, there will be 5 original killers coming to this iteration of this game mode. But we will be looking to add more as we iterate on it and add
de majd később bekerülhetnek újabb killerek is.
Improving the game as it goes along. So content will be coming in as well as updates to classes and gameplay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Matt. And to all of you at home, if you
várom,
want to learn more about 2v8, please join us in our July live stream. We will hope you're looking forward to this year 9. For now, back to you, Eric.
Ez nagyon baszó, srácok. Ez nagyon kemény. Szóval akkor a 2v8 az hivatalosan jön nyáron. És ja, nem kell akasztani, mert túl unalmas volt, túl lassú volt ugye a game mode, hogy mindenkit akaszgatni kell, szóval ilyen piramisosan csak elküldöd őket a cage-be. És ugyanúgy hook state-nek számít. És nem lesznek perkek a Survivor oldalon, hanem ilyen klasszokbat fogtok tudni belemlni, hogy te a looper vagy, és akkor kapsz ilyen loop speedet, meg hogy miközben rajtad a killer, gondolom. A killereknek meg ilyen team powerük lesz, hogy például, hogyha Wraith-tel backlókolsz, és ott van melletted a spanod, a másik killer, mondjuk egy, nem tudom, egy trapper, akkor ő is undetectable lesz. Érdekes, érdekes, nagyon érdekes. Ez valószínűleg kinyírja a TCM-et sajnos.
Oh my God. That roadmap.
Great
God
segment.
damn it.
Great
God
beard,
damn it.
Stefan. People were loving the wet beard in chat. But the real story, 2v8.
2v8, yes, I cannot wait.
Vagy kell looper az lassabb, valószínűleg, hogyha más izébe leszel, igen.
I can't wait for our killers to finally have friends that they can play with.
Get some friends in the fog. Forge friendships in the fog.
But that was a great segment to watch. I loved the reactions in chat. I think the guys did a really good job of explaining this is the first iteration, and there's going to be a lot of changes based on community feedback. So that's why we're not just flipping the switch and making it permanent all of a sudden. You need to actually get the mode where we want it. But we're using the word mode, which means a lot. So pay attention.
Igen, ez nem modifier, hanem mód lesz.
The website. That's a transition. That doesn't make any sense. But the website for What the Fog has been overwhelmed by demand, as predicted. People love that cute little game. So we're working on it. Stay tuned. Don't worry. We have lots and lots of keys for it. So just as soon as we're able to tell you it's back up, we'll give you a mention on the stream here or in the chat.
Yeah. We definitely know you guys want to get your hands on it, but what we can do is tell you about something you can get your hands on today.
Yes, and so recently, I think it was December, we released 3 DLC packs. They're called Maddening Darkness, Old Wounds, and Macabre Tales. That was a way for players to get a big bunch of our older content all in 1 or 3 goes. And so we're actually going to be doing that again.
Yeah, so this pack is actually going to pick up exactly where the last one left off,
which is going to be the
Endless Hunt pack. And in this pack, you're going to get 9 playable characters, starting with Portrait of Murder, Roots of Dread,
egy újfajta ilyen nagy pack, hogy meg tud venni ezeket is. Ez ami nagyon jó.
This pack is going to be all the additional outfits and DLC exclusive items. But of course, if you don't want to get the pack,
megbeszéljük, Spooky, mindent átbeszélünk majd, amit nem értettél.
In the in-game store, so you can get them there.
Yes, so that Endless Hunt pack is actually available right now. It is the best way, especially if you're a newer player to Dead by Daylight, to get a big bunch of great content. So, that out of the way, we want to keep the train rolling. Next up, we're going to be welcoming Derek, right where you're sitting. He's going to tell us all about gameplay improvements and quality of life improvements coming to Dead by Daylight, including a very big one that people have requested for ages. So let's talk to Derek.
Nézzük. Ez lesz, tudod, mi lesz a cross progression? Ja nem, azt hittem, hogy most beszél a cross progressionről. Gameplay improvements, akkor ez nem a cross progression lesz.
Back everybody and welcome Derek to our stream for the first time.
Hello Derek.
Derek is from our product management team. He works with the dev team on creating all sorts of cool quality of life updates, gameplay updates, and he's here to tell you about some good ones today. Derek, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Going to be even better after this segment when we hear what you get to say. So I already know what you've got to say, but I think people are going to be excited to hear about it. The upcoming challenge system. This isn't something we've told people about. Why don't you tell them about it right now?
Upcoming challenge system.
So we really wanted to deliver new in-game challenges to players and new ways for them to be constantly rewarded outside of just tomes and archives. So we're going to be introducing a new challenge system.
Új challenge system.
A system of challenges. That's the name.
Perfect.
That players are going to be able to complete completely passively. That means that players don't need to actively select the challenge that they want to complete, and they can complete multiple of them at the same time.
Okay.
Initially, we're going to start with daily challenges, weekly challenges, and event challenges.
Oh,
and
wow.
later on, we want to expand those into other parts of the game as well. We think that this is going to be a great way for players to be constantly rewarded just for logging in and playing DBD. And it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody.
I think that's a really great addition. I think people
olyan ezt a Valorant, tudod, meg az összes játék.
Just being rewarded for doing what they already do.
Yeah.
Not having to go out and seek it, but just it's happening in the background at all times. That's really great.
Szerintem is.
So another great thing that we're adding actually is how we talk to our players. That's the main job of my team, is talking and listening to our players. But we do it out in the world. We do it on social media. We do it on TikTok and Twitter and other places. But in-game is obviously the best place to talk to people, and you've got some updates there.
Yeah, we're here to make the players' lives easier and your life easier as well. So we're going to be introducing a new inbox-based system that will help connect players with the news that you have to announce, including patch notes, announcements,
lesz egy új
rewards,
inbox
and a
rendszer.
lot more. That way, players will see less pop-ups when they launched into the game, and they'll be able to get into their games quicker. And overall, the players will be able to stay connected with the world of DBD and the news that you have to announce.
Yeah, and it gives us new tools, right? Like being able to tell people the
a game-ben?
Meglátjuk. Do before, and now we can.
So ebbe az évben számíthattok rá.
You'll be able to get it in the game. Pop-ups, not pop-ups, but notifications for rewards as well is another great improvement. So really good work there by the team. But we're not done. Actually, this is something people are familiar with, the Finisher Mori system. We tested it out a while back in PTP, got a ton of great
várjál, emlékeztek a Finisher Morira?
The team took that feedback, went back to the shop to tinker with it, and we've got the final version to tell people about now.
Ne szopas, visszahozzák!
They're a really amazing showcase for how deadly and gruesome our killers can be.
No,
but we
ne
also acknowledge
szopas.
that there was some room for improvement from the survivor's perspective. So like
Ne
you said, we've taken the
szopas.
feedback,
Krisz meg fog
really
őrülni.
iterated on it, and tried to land on what was the best player experience.
Na nézzük.
So, in a coming update, Finisher Moris are going to become a baseline feature for all killers in the game. That means that killers are going to have access to the Finisher Moris by default, but they're only going to be able to use them on the last remaining survivor. That way, if the killer is able to successfully pull it off, we get an exciting conclusion to the match, and the survivors can feel that the game's ended in a fair way, and this match went smoothly, and it was a really exciting experience for everybody. Mori offerings are also going to be updated to instead give bonus blood points.
Oké, a Mori bónusz blood pointot fognak adni.
Szóval
most már nem lesz ilyen külön Mori. Most de lesz, csak plusz BP fog járni érte. Szóval jobban megéri majd morizni mostantól. A finishing Mori lesz visszahozva. Hogyha megöltél mindenkit, akkor automatikusan lesz egy Mori a meccs végén. Úgy fog endelni a meccs.
New chapter coming to Dead by Daylight. So stay tuned, everybody.
Ez nagyon jó lesz, imádni fogjátok.
Thank you for having me.
Lassabban, hogy beszéljek lassabban a spookját? Megy a stream. Hogy állítsam le? De nem lehet leállítani, ez egy élő show, bro. Hogy beszéljek lassabban? Mondta neked, hogy majd a végén megbeszéljük. Hogy lassuljak le, bro? Hogy lassuljak le? Megy a show. Nem én diktálom a tempót. Én csak követem. Nagyon komoly ez a stream eddig, nagyon durva, nagyon kemény. És most jön az új chapter, most kiderül, hogy akkor ki lesz az új killer, survey, map, minden kiderül.
I'm already so excited for the challenges and the finisher Mori.
I just want to shout out Derek for dropping so casually such a highly anticipated feature with cross progression.
Yes, cross progression is finally coming. Super excited. And it's another reason for you to make your behavior account. So not only will you be able to get What the Fog for free, but you'll also be prepping yourself for cross progression.
Mindjárt jön Matthew, ebbe biztos
Which
vagyok.
we know that's something, you know, you're once again going to have to be waiting to get your hands on. But we can now talk about merch, which you can get your hands on right now. So with the merch store, we've got the always popular mystery boxes coming back for this anniversary. And obviously because of the name, I can't tell you what's in the box. Maybe I'll try, you know. But anyway, in the boxes, you're going to see 4 very exclusive DBD items specifically for this release. It's also going to include an art print where some of them are actually signed by our creative director, Dave Richard.
Which is pretty amazing. I had Dave sign my chest backstage, so I won't be sharing that to save you all, but he's got a great signature, one of the best. It's a really cool piece too. If you haven't gotten a mystery box in the past, it's always just a fun unboxing process. So follow the QR code on screen, scan it, and go get it. But we also have an update to the DBD board game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's going to be an expansion pack for the Dead by Daylight, the board game. And this is going to be called the Malicious expansion. This comes with 3 new killers, the Artist, the Knight, and 4 new survivors, Michaela, Jonah, Hattie, and Vittorio. It's also going to come with 2 new maps, which is going to be the Garden of Joy and the Forsaken Boneyard.
Azért, mert behalt az oldaluk most. Mindenki ott van.
Such a tabletop nerd that it's just such good quality, and I'm glad that people are resonating with it. So shout out to level99games.com, which is where you want to go.
Így van, a pretty good job so far guy nélkül nincs stream.
Summer. Obviously, the DBD merch shop as well is available. You can open it up on your phone with that QR code. You can go to another tab and get some shiny stuff.
Nagyon bedurantak most a srácok.
Like you said, in the summer, you know, play it outside, touch some grass at the same time. So other than that, if you have any questions about the content we've been dropping so far, because it's been a lot of content, we will have our live Q&A segment at the end of the stream.
Igen, a végén lesz live Q&A.
Questions into the chat. But other than that, roll initiative, because it's time to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's go. Ő az új kedvencem, hogy ez a csaj, nagyon imádom. Na nézzük. Új chapter.
First there were many, and now so few.
És tényleg ők lesznek a survivorok.
To take a single insignificant breath in my
És az valami killer power. Remélem ez a map egyébként, ahol játszani fogunk. Egy ilyen indoor map, egy ilyen dungeon. Ez a main building, I guess. Valószínűleg ez a main building. Vagy ez ilyen main area.
Dark places such as this.
Jesus. Tesó. Lebeg. Killer power. Killer Mori. Killer Mori. Oké. Vecna. Az új killer, és a new server, ez nem tudom kimondani a nevét, de biztos, hogy nagyon fasz a neve volt. Oké, ez az új chapter, most már akkor hivatalosan is Vecna. Hey!
Head of Partnerships for Behavior Digital, and I'm extremely happy to be joined here today by Sean from our friends at Wizard of the Coast, who is going to be with me talking about what we just saw.
Na nézzük.
Hey Matthew, great to see you.
Pleasure.
Isten is betegszem, amikor megjelenik.
I still have goosebumps. This is so amazing. Like I was saying earlier, I have inner child in me that's thrilled right now. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I'm, 10 years old, and it's an absolute dream come true. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Of course, yeah, my pleasure. I 10-year-old Sean wakes up every day realizing that he works at Wizards of the Coast, dream job. So we're super aligned on that.
So Dungeons and Dragons is probably one of the biggest gateways that people have had to how to craft stories, how to design games, how to create experiences for other people. We've seen it, of course, within the dev team. There's so many people who've got their first taste of designing games through Dungeons and Dragons. Have you seen this to be true with other developers that you've worked with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I always say it's the easiest thing about my job is I never have to teach people what D&D is or what the brand is about, because when I'm working with the developer, I guarantee you the person that I'm talking to has played and everybody on their team has played, or at the very least is like very aware of what the game is and what it entails. It makes my job very, very easy. I always joke around, D&D is kind of this like the building block or like the connective tissue between game designers. You can be at a gaming convention and you're talking to other developers, and if you have nothing else in common, just start talking about D&D.
It's true. It's kind of a common language. There's so many common references there. For me personally, like I said, it's a dream come true. I still play Dungeons and Dragons every week with my group of friends. I'm the forever DM in that group, and I know that there are a couple of other people on my team who were absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. What made sense for Wizard of the Coast to enter into this collaboration?
That's a great question. I think that exploring horror is always something that's really, really interested us. Dungeons and Dragons has dipped its toes in horror before. We've got modules like Curse of Strahd. We've got a lot of different horror elements we've brought together in some of our monsters. Obviously, characters like Vecna have been super horror driven. So when the idea popped up on our radar, hey, what do you think about working together with Behavior on a Dead by Daylight module? Like the light turned on instantly. I don't think anybody was there were no question marks. It was mostly just exclamation points. It's like, how do we do this the best, right? Like, let's find the coolest character. Let's find the coolest setting. Let's really make this a true sort of celebration of D&D inside of Dead by Daylight and make it a way that feels super native to that game.
Yeah.
Nem bírsz várni Vecnára?
I mean, I know a lot of people will probably think that their first thought when they think of Dungeons and Dragons is not necessarily horror, but there is quite a lot of potential for horror.
Persze, fixbe lesz a
It is a very flexible medium to tell stories, and horror stories are some of the stories that will provoke the most intense emotions and reactions in players. So for us, it made sense. Yes.
Yeah, I'm also slightly in the forever dungeon master box that you are. I try to inject a little bit of horror into all the campaigns that I run. I think that it's just a great tool to use to tell stories. If your players never get scared, right, you're probably doing something a little bit wrong. True. And like you mentioned, Dungeons & Dragons is just a really flexible system for telling stories. At the end of the day, the players and the dungeon masters, you're not fighting each other. You're just there telling a collaborative story about what happens. And horror is just a great tool to include in that box of storytelling. It's D&D hasn't always been, hey, we are a horror game, but the tools are there if you
Szerintem váltatsz, hogy nő vagy férfi legyél. Úgy lesz kettőszörvé. Ilyen Legionösen.
Yeah, there are many examples out there. Now, why Vecna? I mean, we've seen it in the trailer. He is an absolutely terrifying presence. I think that whether you're a survivor or a killer and you play with Vecna in that game, it's going to be a really, really intense experience. So tell me a little bit, why Vecna and why it makes sense?
For me, the main reason that Vecna was very clearly like on the top of the podium the entire time we were discussing potential killers is that Vecna has always had this horror movie monster vibe to him. I mean, as a lich, he's always had the ability to, you can even kill him and he just pops back up and will come back. It might not be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Might be a couple of years in the future, but like Vecna is always going to come back. He just has this real inevitability to him, right? And the thing about D&D is very quickly in a D&D setting, your party becomes a group of powerful adventurers, right? You're defeating all these other monsters that, like dragons and stuff. And then Vecna shows up and you're like, oh, we need to run away. Vecna's here. Like he's such a scary, inevitable threat in the universe that even his earliest appearances were just items with his name on them, and everybody was wondering, oh, who's this guy Vecna that's got this eye and this hand, and it was just like whispers of this ancient evil that was so powerful you couldn't even print a stat block for him because he was just that strong.
Yeah, it's the terrifying presence that few talk about, but if
alig várom, hogy széttibegeljék ezt a hihetetlenül veszélyes, undorító, ősi gonoszt, széttibegeljék az Exit Gate-be, jó lesz majd amúgy.
Almost 50 years now, right?
És ez új még nem hiszem.
Like you said, as whispers, as just a note in there. But he does have a stat block, and reading it is all, it's not ridiculous, but it's so much power in those pages. Like, you understand that he is, like you said, inevitable, but also he is able to scare a party of level 15 adventurers who are technically almost unstoppable by that point, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
It's always like, I've lost quite a few player characters myself to Vecna, and Eva Ruin, we've got the new book coming out, and as soon as you see Vecna, Eva Ruin, I was like, oh, looks like I'm gonna lose a couple more.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun. That's writing stories with your friends. So before we let Zenék and Dave take us through the details of how we implemented Vecna with the gameplay mechanics of Dead by Daylight, how we presented him to our players, I'm wondering if you have a message for the hardcore D&D fans out there who may not be familiar with Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I do actually, and it's try this chapter out, even if you don't play it. Like, watch somebody stream it, because this chapter, it's a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons from a very passionate and very talented team of developers at Behavior. It was super obvious throughout the entire process that, from the sound design work to the animations and the modeling, and I can't stress enough how easy it made the approvals process on our end. All of this work came in very obviously driven by an incredibly high level of passion for Dungeons and Dragons. If you are a D&D fan, there's really cool Easter eggs in the map. There's really cool Easter eggs all over the place. There's just a ton of love for D&D in this thing. And if you're a fan, there's something in here for you, I promise. Even if you don't think that horror is your thing, give it a try. It's super fun.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Seriously. Now, I think we'll wrap this up for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today in our anniversary. And I hopefully will see you in the fog.
GG. De nézzük. Azért volt már szó, csak elmisszeltem, srácok, a cross progressionről? A csávó mesélt róla, aki a 2v8-at magyarázta? Mert szerintem lehet, hogy nem figyeltem. Még nem volt szó? Még nem volt? Azt, hogy nem figyeltem rá. Ja, összesen 8 órát kell nézni, hogy meg legyenek a izék.
Hey, hi, I'm not Dave. You're not Janek.
I'm not Janek.
No, we're quickly interrupting our D&D segment. There's a lot more. Stay tuned. Dave will be right where I am in just a second to give you an update on cross progression. So, this is a live show. We're having a live TV moment as we speak. So apologies, you might have noticed, even though I was dressed the same. Our segment with Derek that was just before was pre-recorded. And in fact, we played the wrong one. So we want to give you more details on cross-progression.
Oh, akkor ezért voltam összezavarodva.
Yeah, so cross-progression is hands down one of the most requested features. Every single stream, every single post. You guys are wanting cross-progression, and we're giving it to you later this summer. Players will need to own the base game on any platform that they're playing on and have a Behavior account. I'm sure you heard me talking about cross-progression with an account, and you're like, what is she talking about? Yeah, so make sure you have that, and you'll be able to use cross-progression later this summer. We do understand that the website is currently down because so many people are trying to get to the website and make their account, but we're working on it, and we'll have this to you shortly.
Yep, and just as a clarification, in case we have a few folks in chat that aren't aware, Dead by Daylight, this is cross-progression for console and PC. Dead by Daylight. We're not talking about Dead by Daylight mobile. It's really its own experience if you've never played it. It's a different beast.
Akkor minden konzol cross-progression lesz.
Or as we call it internally.
So PS,
So along with the
Xbox.
Twitch drops and a chance to get What the Fog for free, players now have another
Ez cross
reason
progression,
for
nem
their
crossplay,
behavior
ez cross
account and another
progression.
reason to crash our website. So like we said, bear with us. The site will be brought back up and all this will happen. Regarding cross progression, though, any exceptions about in how the system is going to work?
Well, while every platform will have cross progression, there will be a few exceptions to what can be shared between those platforms.
Okay, na?
But stay tuned. We'll have a full
Még nem
FAQ
mondják.
coming very soon, so that you can go ahead and learn more about cross progression for Dead by Daylight.
Oké, nem sokára beszélek még akkor részleteket, jó, lesznek
As
szabályok.
mentioned, now we're going to pass it to Dave and Janik for some great deep details on our Dungeons and Dragons chapter.
Na nézzük a detaileket az új chapterről. Bármilyen platformon játszott, majdnem bármilyen platformon szerintem, aha, nyilván mondjuk egyértelmű, hogy a mobil az nem tartozik ide, mert az teljesen más a mobil, annak külön élete van. De a Core DBD az igen, aha. Érdekes amúgy, ez amúgy tényleg nagyon kitettek magukért. Ez nagyon sok jó hír. Ez kellett nagyon a DBD-ekbe, kezdték nagyon lehúzni saját magukat. Már alig várom most remélem, én most elmeséljük, hogy mik a perkek, az nagyon érdekelne, hogy milyen perkeket hoz a killer és a survey. TCM rip? De hogy csak vicceltem. A TCM már halott, nem lehet rip. Érted? Ha már meghalt. De a 2v8 az nem tett jót neki, ez tuti. A 2v8 az nem tett jót.
Thank you,
Na,
Dork
a
and
másik
Eric,
kedvencem.
for this cross-progression information, just to prove that we are live. So we're super excited today to be able to talk about the Dungeon and Dragon chapter. I am Dave, creative director on Dead by Daylight, and I'm joined by my good friend, Zenék.
Hello, Zenék Never, principal game designer on Dead by Daylight. Today I'll be talking about all the intricacy of the gameplay on this chapter, but first a little mention. Dead by Daylight, 8 years, introducing Dungeon and Dragon. It's a big milestone for us, but we're not the only one hitting a special milestone.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Dungeon and Dragon turns 50 this year. And we are super proud and happy to be part of the celebration.
Nem, még nem mondták a perkeket.
Just want to say that maybe when we turn 50, we do something else with you, Wizard of the Coast. Or maybe
We'll probably be in retired home, but we'll be glad to join the party. So first, Dungeon & Dragon in Dead by Daylight. I have to be honest here. The first time you told me about what's going to be coming next, I was surprised because I'm a big horror fan, but when you think about horror, Dungeon & Dragon is not the first thing that comes to mind. But thinking about it more, I realized, no, wait, there's a lot of horror in Dungeon & Dragon.
Sure.
And Ravenloft being my favorite module.
choice.
So like you really specifically focus on certain element of the brand. So please tell us about those pillars.
Yeah, so when we start a chapter, we always have a sandbox created so that we stay, around some specific pillars, like you said. Of course, when we think Dungeons and Dragons, the first thing that comes to mind is a magical world, high fantasy, magical creatures, wizards, magic, all sort of things that don't necessarily fit exactly well into a horror setting. But because D&D is a world of imagination where we can create whatever we want, there's also a way to make it happen. So for us, the first pillar was to make sure that we had a good juxtaposition with fantasy, so fully embracing that type of content, but make it horrific as well. And like you've seen in the trailer, having a character like Vecna made perfectly sense for that horror setting. The second pillar is creative role-playing. So in the image of Dungeon and Dragon, we wanted to make sure that players had a lot of agency, a lot of choices. So that goes from an amount of spells you can choose from in the power, which we'll talk about later, or even customization. So a way you can, kind of create your own character in some way. We just wanted to make sure that we had a lot of gameplay choices in the DBD trials. And the last pillar we worked with is chaos. So that's actually one of our main pillar in Dead by Daylight. But, a lot of what happens in Dungeon and Dragon is based on randomness. You throw a dice, and with critical success, critical fails, and everything in between, you see the result and you adapt to it. So we wanted to recreate that feeling inside the Dead by Daylight trials as well.
Yeah, Dungeon & Dragon is really about exploring a fantasy world, but also be thrilled about what's going to be the monster you're going to meet the next time you open a door.
So let's talk about that killer you'll meet the next time you open the door.
Nézzük
So
meg,
of course,
na.
Dungeons & Dragons has a lot of iconic monsters we could have chosen from, a lot of iconic villains as well. And with our friends at Wizard of the Coast, we've established that our next killer would be Vecna. Vecna is just a perfect fit for Dead by Daylight. He's a lich, so a powerful wizard that turned himself into undead to be able to continue his villainry. Is that even a word? I'm not sure. So he wanted to continue to do his horrible stuff for as long as he could. Vecna also has access to every spell in the books. So that was very interesting for us to create an interesting power. Of course, we also have a survivor in the chapter. So the Bard, a very interesting class. There's many class that we could have chosen from, but the Bard was really the one that fit the most into our horror setting. You know, for example, when we think about a class like the Paladin, we think of the ability to turn the undead, magical sword, big plated armors, and all of this doesn't fit really well into the world of Dead by Daylight. The Bard with abilities like bardic inspiration, the ability to sing, to play musical instrument, and even to insult the villain is just so on brand that it was a perfect fit. So that's why we chose the Bard. As you've seen in the image and the trailer, we're doing something special with the survivor. It's akin to what we've done with Legion. Through the cosmetic customization, you'll be able to choose between two specific characters inside the same survivor.
Igen. So szóval lehet nő is, meg férfi is. Nem kell érte fizetni.
Female elf, or Bermar, a human male. Yeah.
Látod, hogy az lesz, mint Legion. Mondta Andrus, látod, ezért kell kiakadni.
Like in my friends group, the Bard was not really a class that people tend to play.
True.
Compared especially to other class that you had. But through all times, like there's been many change and iteration on the class, and has now become like such popular class to play. Really fun now, definitely, and has become kind of an emblem to Dungeons & Dragons as much as a Red Dragon now.
Absolutely. Every party nowadays has a Bard. And we've also seen a lot of Bard love into other content that Dungeons & Dragons produce, like the movie, for example.
Yeah. So we have an undead wizard. We have a troubadour. Do we have a new
Absolutely.
We're
super proud to have a full chapter for the anniversary.
Nice.
And shocking no one, the map is a dungeon. Absolutely. So in the Borgo realm, we have a new map with a new building. So there is a top part set in the marvelous new lighting of the Borgo realm. And you can find this isolated tower in the middle.
Igazad volt, Chris.
Go into an extensive dungeon underground, packed with surprises and Easter egg related to Dungeons and Dragons.
De jó, találsz Easter egg-ekkel.
Is that we've imagined that Vecna, knowing about different realms and plane, now trapped into the realm of the entity, would find a place to make his own, his lair.
It's a main building.
So that he can study where he is, the world, the entity, and potentially find a way to escape, maybe. Maybe not.
Lehet, hogy meg tudsz szökni Vecna.
Introducing a new gameplay mechanic in this map called Passage.
Passage.
So these are basically doors, magical doors, which you can use to teleport from one area to the map.
Na jó, hagyjál már, bazd meg. Lehet teleportálni szörviként?
To chases.
Beszarok?
The map. The Easter egg, it's super fun. Like if you're a fan of
Vecna be like, hell,
you're gonna be thrilled to see all the small and the big one. On the gameplay side now for Vecna, so the way we tackle or approach the killer this time, interestingly, comes from the game, so he has mechanic that are existent. So we look at all like stats block and try to come up with like the best spell that could be translated into game mechanic for us, and also make sure that these will be like thrilling and exciting to use. But then, so definitely he's a spellcaster, a very powerful one. So the goal was to make him feel as such in our game. But like I was saying, magic, it's something that we have never really tackled, not that way before. Something we've tried to stay away from. Like our powers are really visceral or like grounded as much as possible. It's something that do you want to talk about a bit? Magic?
Yeah, yes, please. I hope some of our team colleagues are laughing right now. They're I kind of have a bad rep internally about magic. It's almost a taboo word that we can't use. But now making a D&D chapter, for sure we had to embrace magic. And of course there is a space for magic in our games, but it has to be taken with the right tone. So in this case, we're talking necromancy, blood magic, magic of the dead. And there's a touch of realism and visceralness that we wanted to add to magic versus something more flashy like a magic projectile or a fireball, for example. There's also something quite interesting out of Dungeons & Dragons, and these are the utility spells. They're spells that are not used to kill or damage, but they're used in very creative ways. And we wanted to highlight that with the Lich, with Vecna. So that was our approach. Now, do you want to talk to us about the spell that we actually chosen?
Sure. So you have access to 4 different type of spell. Pretty much any time they have their own individual cooldown. But so the first one is called Fly, a very popular, well-known Dungeons & Dragons spell in our game. It lifts up the killer, and you're pushed forward, obviously faster. So it's really like the traversal aspect of the power. It lasts for a short amount of time, and it's going to also end if you vault a pallet or a vault location. And this is really useful to get closer to Survivor and get to the next gen as soon as possible. The next one is called Flight of the Dam, which is, it's not really a Dungeons & Dragons spell. It's more connected to Vecna. It's actually an ability that he has. What it does is that it casts 5 different individual projectile, and then it shoots them in a cone radius effect in front of him. These projectiles pass through obstacles. They don't go very far, but if they hit the survivor, they get damaged instantly. It might sound very powerful and easy to use, but it's not the case. Survivor have a lot of counter, but the spell can also be used to zone in
zónos killer
so
lesz.
can also go for the basic M1 attack during that time.
Not a big fan of that.
Spell is called Dispelling Sphere, which is actually, it's a combination of different existing Dungeons & Dragons spell. We just felt it was more compelling to combine them into one spell. So what it does, you cast a large sphere in front of you, and that sphere moves slowly throughout the level. Survivors do not see that sphere, and if they get in contact with that sphere, they get revealed for a few seconds by Killer Instinct, and also have their magic items disabled for a minute. And the last but not least spell is Mage Hand, very well known Dungeons & Dragons spell. What it does in Dead by Daylight, you, as the killer, you can tag up a nearby pallet. And if the pallet is upward, it blocks the pallet for a few seconds.
What?
Cannot be interacted by Survivor. And if it's downward, it's lifted up for you, so you can fully pass.
Micsoda? Ha nem van, akkor felállítja, hogy átnessen rajta a meglent van, akkor vagy a petek meg leblokkolja, és nem tudja ledobni.
Try to activate them at the right moment. So that's really how
Okay. Ezért nem kell Jenslow, most már értem.
Learning how to use them at the
Ezért
right
nem kell a Jenslow.
and be efficient with them.
Mindig Jenslow, hogyha nincsenek paletták, érted?
Choices here.
Correct.
So you've mentioned very quickly during the spell sphere, the magical item.
Did I? Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. So this is the new toy for Survivor. It's called magic items, but keep in mind it's not an actual items that they use. So this time, if you face Vecna, you're gonna have Survivor gonna have 7 different chests that's gonna spawn throughout the level.
Okay.
Survivor go interact with those chests, and
Igen,
during
külön
the
chestjei
opening of the
lesznek.
chest, there's gonna be a D20 dice roll. Yes, it's Dungeons & Dragon. We couldn't do without the dice roll. So this dice roll will determine the content of the chest. So if survivor roll from 2 to 4, they get a basic Dead by Daylight brown item. So
better than that.
Yeah, well, maybe that brown medkit.
Okay, akkor ha 2-től 4-ig, akkor csak egy brown itemet kapsz.
The fun part is when you roll from 5 to 19, that's when you get the magic items. And the way it works is that each survivor has an equipment slot, a 2 equipment slot. They have the bracers and the boots. So there's 2 types of magic items.
And each magic
item is going to be
linked,
the first time you open the chest to one of the 4 Vecna spells. And so once they are equipped, each time the killer will cast the spell that is linked to one of your magic item, you're going to gain a passive bonus to help out avoid the spell or help you out against Vecna in general.
Ez amúgy nagyon összetettes,
to be more precise. So if you have bracers against the fly spell, you're going to see Vecna's aura during the traveling while you use the spell. If you have a boots, for example, against the Flight of the Dam, you see the aura of the projectile, very useful because the projectile goes through collision and the best way to use that spell is through walls. If you have magic items against the Dispelling Sphere, survivors see the sphere so they can juke and go around the sphere as much as they can. And if you have a counter against the Mage Hand, you see the aura of the hand on the palette and also gain a little aced
Chase, mert nem tudod ledobni a palettát, hogy el tudjál rohanni. Szóval, hogyha szerencséd van, akkor túléled Vecnát, ha nincs. Ez full RNG.
Yeah, correct, because
ez full RNG. Ezt nem fogják szeretni az emberek.
The balance in this case is that we made sure that the magic items do not trunker the killer's power. It's made or balanced to face survivor who have them equipped. So if you don't get those, definitely the killer might feel a bit oppressive.
Igen.
So it's really up to survivor to
szóval muszájak ezek a chestek.
As soon as possible.
Mert hogyha nincsenek izéd, akkor meghalsz ellene.
A normal item with that. So you can have your flashlight, bracer and boots.
Correct.
Ja, igen, so oké, ez jó. Ez jó, akkor egyszer lehet flashlightod is.
A lot of numbers here on the dice, but you've not mentioned the critical fail, 1, and critical success on the 20.
Okay.
People that don't play D&D, these are like
az egyes és 20 és a legrosszabb. Az egyes legrosszabb.
That can happen in Dragons when you get that critical fail or that critical success.
Okay.
So what happens in Dead by Daylight?
Mi van, hogyha egyet dobunk, vagy 20-at?
Critical roll in the game. If you roll a 1, you get a big nothing. Although I've heard sometimes people get a green key. I guess that's
better, yeah.
But I know what you get if you roll a 20.
Okay,
so
green key
who's familiar with Vecna in the lore of Dungeons and Dragons, there are 2 very specific artifacts that exist that is called the Eye of Vecna and the Hand of Vecna, and we introduce them in our game. So you roll a 20, you get one of the 2.
Okay, vagy az Eye of Vecnát kapod, vagy a másikat, ha 20-as dobsz.
These works more like a normal item, so you have to pick them up. And use them once. It's called attune, so you merge with the items, and then you unlock a very powerful ability up to like perk level. Yes, it's very strong.
Na mi ez?
You want to know
please do say.
Okay, sure. So if you attune with the Eye of Vecna,
mit csinál?
Lockers. So if you fast exit a locker, you're going to be unseen, unheard by the killer. For 15 seconds, and on top of that, you gain a haste boost effect. And if you attune with the Hand of Vecna, you fast enter a locker, and you're going to be teleported further down for the locker.
Wow!
So very powerful. I forgot a little detail.
Üldözöd a szervit, beugrik a lockerbe, átteleportáltam a másik lockerbe. Ja! Jól van, akkor jól van. Na, ezeket kapd el amúgy. What the fuck?
And also at the end of the attack, you get revealed by counter instinct. So be very mindful the way you use them, because we've seen a lot of situations where it backfire at the survivor, and the killer has definitely a spell to help him out, get back at the
most ez nagyon összetett, srácok, ezt el kell még olvassam a 15-ször. Ez nagyon összetett lett ez a killer.
Zenék. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff coming with
nagyon sok dolog jön Vecnával.
We add no time today to talk about anything more about the killer perks or
Ez sok webnál ellen lesz,
I have
ja.
to say very quickly that
Lesz sztoriázásra, hogy visszajön a
will allow you
Narnia.
to create illusions, to perform on the lute. You can even perform with other survivors to do the full melody. There's also a dice roll mechanic for one of the perk. So if you want more information after the show, you can go on our website, deadbydaylight.com, and get all of the details
Jó,
you need.
megyünk a website-ra.
Zenék, for all the information. And,
Megyünk a website-ra, tesó, mert ennek a felét nem is értem.
Happy anniversary, and I'll be passing it back to Erik and Dork.
Ez nagyon durva, srácok, ez mi az Isten ez a killer amúgy? Ezek után ki akar másra játszani, mint Vecnával? Ez nagyon komoly lett, nagyon összetett lett. Azt hittük, hogy az élet összetett. Mi a... Hogy a kamerás killert, aki teleportálgat? Már ez a killer milyen összetett lett, bro. Ez nagyon durva lett amúgy, hát megnézzük, ez mennyire fog. Semmi a száj PTB-re megyünk, meg közben még letölt a PTB, megyünk a website-ra. Olvasgatni, hogy mi az Isten csinálnak a tárgyak. Nagyon durva, a Megtehed 100, nem tudom, de nagyon-nagyon komolynak tűnik. Ja, alig várom, hogy lepitibizik, majd megmutatom neked Bexi, amúgy, hogy kell.
Dungeons & Dragons in Dead by Daylight.
Na nézzük.
You are a pretty frequent DM yourself, right?
Yes, I do DM on occasion. Forever player, as they said in the interview. Well, no, forever DM.
Yeah.
Never a player. Please make me a player.
You must be so psyched.
So psyched. I'm so psyched. I'm so excited. I just cannot wait to see what we have in store and to go against Vecna.
Hopefully people have noticed your dice
Yeah,
necklace.
my nice D4. I got it. Okay. But yes, just like Dave said, don't forget to head over to deadbydaylight.com right after the show for the full breakdown on Vecna and all of his powers. You'll also be able to see the perks that we've got for him and our bard coming into the fog.
And also, don't forget to ask questions in the chat when you're not spamming nonsense garbage. Ask real questions, and we'll answer them later in the Q&A. You don't need to say claim. Please stop saying claim. You're not claiming anything by saying claim.
Majd infózom, hogy hány gigabájtos, infóztatom, persze.
We appreciate your enthusiasm. But next we're going to be, well, I'm going to be joined by Dave Richard back on the couch for him to walk us through the ever-expanding world of Dead by Daylight.
Nagyon kemény a cucc, hallod. What lies ahead? Na nézzük. Csak ott PTB-zek? Már ha vége a streamnek, akkor fogtuk tudni PTB-zni. Na most mutassák Drakulát? Mondták, hogy majd belekukadhatunk egy-két dologba, igen, de azt hiszem valami szörviről beszéltek, nem? Hogy valami szörvibe kukadhatunk bele, még lehet Dracula szörvi is amúgy, mert nem azért mondom. A free game-et, hogy lehet begyűjteni a website-jukon, csak most be van halva.
Over here now. So I'm super excited for this part of the stream because not only do we get to talk about two upcoming projects within the world of Dead by Daylight, that being Supermassives, the casting of Frank Stone, and an unnamed multiplayer PvE game by Midwinter, but we get to do it all with Dave Richard.
Na nézzük.
So Dave, can you please tell me why we chose these games to be the right games for us to expand the world of Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going into that choice for sure. So first of all, we are super happy and grateful to have a community already there playing Dead by Daylight. So of course we listen to what they want to see, what they want to play. So that comes into the recipe of the choice we're going to make. We also want to make sure that we will create something new to experience, something that's completely out of what we are used to in Dead by Daylight. So that comes into the genre we want to create. Also, we want to interest new players into the world of Dead by Daylight. Some people that never heard of Dead by Daylight, but also some viewers that are interested about the world of DBD, but that don't play DBD because maybe it's not their style of game. So we want also these players to be with us and experience the world of Dead by Daylight.
And just like you were saying, with people being interested in the world of Dead by Daylight, as the creative director, why do you think there's so much interest in the lore of a multiplayer game that's based in action?
Well, it's been very important for us since day one when we started working on this project. The story and the narrative around everything we create. We want to make sure that every little component in DBD has a story and a reason to live in the universe. we take great care into making that happen.
Annyira gyors érnek az új dolgok, hogy nem értékeljük őket? Mire gondolsz?
Mysteries within mysteries, a lot of layers to our narrative, which I think are super interesting and players want to know more. So these games will allow us to discover these elements that we've seen in the past. You know, like every killer and every survivor in Dead by Daylight could have their own movie or their own game, really.
Yeah, they've got so much lore. It's really amazing to just dive into. And speaking of lore, I mean, this is something we want to expand on with the world of Dead by Daylight. So we're doing that in one of our upcoming games, The Casting of Frank Stone. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Nézzük.
Right, I can tell you a little bit.
Megjelenési dátumot, tesó.
Of course, there's different type of stories in games, right? There's games that have a static narrative that you experience. That's great. There's also games that the narrative is made very organically by the players, like DBD is a good example of that. The Casting of Frank Stone is somewhere in between, right? It's a game where there is multiple narrative, and based on the player choice, and you know, different things will happen, and based on their choice, different endings and different branching in the story will happen. So the Casting of Frank Stone is very interesting for us because it brings the origin of a killer and potentially survivors, and the players are able to play that for the first time. You know, some things that we are used to see as a lore or a bio or a tome entry in DBD now will be playable.
Wow.
It's still in the Entities universe. It's still very much part of the world of DBD, but it's going to be out of the trials. So that's going to be an interesting take.
So nem a trial-be vesz részt, de a DBD világában fog játszódni. Ezt tudtuk ugye eddig is.
That realm, but what about our other project?
Nem derül ki semmi a Frank erről a játékról.
Is that also going to be taking place in the Entities realm?
Absolutely. So it is in the world of DBD. It is in the Entity. And one cool thing about the Entity is that we know very little about exactly what it is, but we do know that it's a living universe. It is huge, and we can't really comprehend everything that's happening within it. So we know that DBD trials are a way for the Entity to feed. It's a very kind of organic process. So we can imagine that there are other parts in the Entity that serves other purposes. That is exactly what we want to explore. So that allows us to create new narrative, new ways to experience a game, new gameplay opportunity, new set of rules. So these are things that we talked about in the past and that we always wanted to explore. So that's exactly what we want to do with this new Untitled game. So in a way, the world of DBD that we've created is like a book with infinite pages. We can add new stories to it forever, hopefully.
Just keep on reading.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you did talk about that, and like, is there any gameplay that we'll be able to see?
That we'll be able to see. Well, yeah, I think so.
All right.
Okay, lesz valami gameplay.
For talking us through that, but now I want to see the gameplay. Let's see the gameplay.
Igazából semmit nem mondott, amit eddig ne tudtam volna. Thank you guys, thank you. De nézzük akkor a gameplayt. From the World of Dead by Daylight. Ez a Casting of Frank Stone, vagy ez valami másik játék, amiről beszéltek? Nem, jó, ez a másik, jó. Ez egy másik játék lesz.
Hey everyone, I'm Audrey, lead producer at Midwinter Entertainment.
Hi.
Last year, we gave you a very small glimpse of a project we started working on set in the Dead by Daylight universe.
Igen.
I'm happy to say that we have more to share with you on this game codenamed Project T.
Instead
of showing you a close to final game with some polished gameplay, we wanted to let you in on the development process. Right now, Project T is a work in progress, more than a fully fledged game. Our goal is to craft an experience with all of you and create something that you would be eager to play. Let's hear more about Project T with our creative director.
Gameplay akarok látni.
First, I want to say what an honor it is to be working in the Dead by Daylight universe. We love DBD's multiplayer thrills, and its dark, mature setting brings just the right kind of tension and danger for a game like this. In Project T, you play as trespassers, characters who have been whisked away from their realities and trapped within the Entity's realm. There, in a vast region called the Backwater, they discover they must work together if they're to have any chance of survival. And of course, they're not alone. The Backwater is home to horrific monstrosities known as the Thrall. These terrors come in many forms and have different deadly abilities. Their origins in nature are unclear, but they certainly don't take kindly to trespassers within their domain. To achieve your objectives, you'll have to battle the thrall with every weapon at your disposal.
Ez nagyon izginek tűnik.
Is called the Backwater. It's a unique place, another twisted realm within the entity's grasp. You'll be eager to explore this familiar yet ominous world, and it'll definitely give you the creeps. To add even more tension to your experience, we're building the Backwater as an ever-changing landscape, which offers a lot of possibilities gameplay-wise. To navigate the Backwater, we're thinking of adding trucks in the game. Since it's a pretty big area,
lehet majd vezetni. Aha, lesznek ilyen truckok. De jó, ezen nagyon játszanék.
There could be other uses for the truck. That's something we're thinking about. And we'd love to see what kind of ideas you might have.
És akkor ezt együtt lehet játszani.
As DBD fans, we're having a lot of fun creating this new experience as part of the Dead by Daylight universe. DBD is all about horror, and we want to make sure we're crafting something that horror fans will appreciate, from the different biomes of the Backwater to the look of the thrall.
Nem sokat mutatnak, mondjuk.
That doesn't mean you'll have to wait another year to get more news. We're looking to get your opinions and share information, so we're creating a platform called the Insider Program. This is a place where all the players excited about this new take on the DBD universe can gather and be active participants in the development of the project.
Eléggé még kezdetleges a dolog.
As an insider, you'll not only get exclusive information, but also in-game rewards and even the chance to join our closed playtests and give us your feedback. Join us to help shape an experience you'd like to play and make Project T the best that it can be. See you soon.
Jó, az érdekes lesz. Remélem lehet majd streamelni. Mert nagyon szívesen részt vennék benne. Ha lehet streamelni, ha nem, akkor nem részt veszek benne. Hogyha a streamelésemből venne el időt. De ja, ez az Insider program, ebben majd bekukizok, hogy mi a helyzet. Most egyre nem tudjátok behúzni a free game-et. Amúgy What the Fog az a free game-nek a neve, ami már kim van.
Serial is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal activity. What is that?
Aha, na, remélem, hogy itt lesz izé megjelenési dátum.
Why do you hate Cedar Hill so much?
Ús, ez nagyon basszó lesz.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present The Mill.
Ezért építettük a PC-t.
Realize every place has got its demons.
Think that belongs to the boy you're looking for?
You can't shoot a movie in here. This is a condemned steel mill, Mr. Rivera. I suggest you immediately vacate the premises.
Ez nagyon basszó.
And you do not, under any circumstances, set 1 foot back here in the Cedar Steel Mill. Ever.
Such a joy to see young people so passionate about the arts. Everything's all right.
Az egy entity volt, tesó.
Murder mill? No! There was a whole string of disappearances. Kidnappings, really. Murders. So what was this guy's name?
Csak legyen megjelenési dátum. Csak legyen megjelenési dátum, bro.
I don't think the police ever found this place.
Fuck! Whoever did this might still be here. We can't stay, okay? We gotta go.
And cut!
Nem látom, hogy mikor jelenik meg.
When you make dangerous cinema, you walk a dangerous line.
Oj, ne. Wishlistezni eddig is lehetett, nem? Tesó, nagyon basszó.
Right, some chills there.
Did I see a hunting mask?
Bringing it. Murder Mill? That seems familiar. Fans might know that one. Super cool. It's so cool to see the way that the DBD universe is expanding.
Oh, yeah.
I want to mention Project T. You saw a mention of the Insider program. So that's our team is there waiting for you on Discord. So you can join the Insider program to get up-to-date information on Project T and get involved in it and be part of the game's development. It's really the idea there is we're making the game with the community. So get in on the ground floor now.
Yes. with Project T, like Eric said, we are taking this idea to a whole new level with making the game with you instead of just making it by ourselves. So if you love Dead by Daylight and you want to help with this new session-based multiplayer PvE game and bring it to life, sign up for the Insider program so that you can be in the know and get next steps. You also want to make sure you wish this on Steam because that really helps us.
Yes. And so Project T is quite a ways off because, like I said, we actually want to make it with our players. But the casting of Frank Stone is right on the horizon. So Supermassive, as hopefully folks know in the chat, they're just an amazing developer of single-player narrative horror games. And now we're bringing Dead by Daylight into that genre, and it's just so cool to finally be there. And it looks super terrifying. It looks super crisp and polished and awesome. I can't wait. So as you mentioned, wish lists do help a lot. So if you would do us a kindness, kindly give us a wish list, we would greatly appreciate it.
Nagyon bedurantak a srácok, tesó.
Dead by Daylight, the PTB, I know a lot of you are itching to get into that. That will be at 1 p.m. as a reminder today instead of 12 p.m. So be ready to download that so you can go ahead and hop in and test out the new chapter.
I can't wait to see people's reactions to all the things.
I cannot wait, especially for the locker one. I'm so excited for that one. But as we said, this is, we're getting pretty close to our live segment where it's going to be the live Q&A. So we'll have Justin, different Justin from Eric's Justin, come out to talk about this year's Twisted Masquerade in-game anniversary.
Na most hogy milyen lesz az in-game event, a szülinapi event, a tortásról, a nagy farmolós, arról fogok beszélni, hogy ez most idén hogy fog kinézni. Azt már tudjuk, hogy lehet játszani simán, és majd ezt is, ugye? Szóval mostantól ezeket külön queue-ba lehet játszani.
Again, this time I'm joined by Justin Banks, our senior product manager. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back.
Yes, welcome back to the anniversary show. And what would an anniversary be without the Twisted Masquerade, right? So the Twisted Masquerade is back. It happens every year during our anniversary in-game, and Justin's here to talk about it. So what have you cooked up this year?
So this year, we got some amazing stuff. Honestly, I think it's our best anniversary event yet. But before we get to it, we have what we call Before the Masquerade. So that is going to be something that actually starts right after this stream.
Igen, volt azt hiszem tavaly is.
Watching, once this is over, go.
Azonnal kezdődik ez a Before cucc.
And we've got lots of really cool stuff as a big thank you to all of the players. It's really stuff from all of DBD's history, and it includes a lot of presents.
I love presents. I know you love presents. Our community probably loves presents too.
I think
details?
So the details about said presents. We've got lots of login rewards, so lots of currencies for players to earn just by logging in whichever day throughout all of this. We've also got 2 recolored outfits, one for Meg and one for the Huntress, that players can earn through each week. So each week you'll be able to earn a different piece of this, so if you log in just once each of these initial 3 weeks,
logging is a recolor skin.
It's a really cool way to get your hands on some cool outfits. Now, each of these initial 3 weeks is going to focus on a different period of DBD's history, so a different collection of years. What that means is that we're going to have map boosts and outfit sales of character outfits that were released during those years. So we really want to take you through this history with us. We want to celebrate the history of DBD.
Igen. Szóval minden héten, vagy hogy mondta?
I think everyone's really going to dig is we have some currency boosts,
Szia,
a different one for each week during Before the Masquerade. So
lehet ilyen a flafa, lehet ilyen a flafa augusztusban.
So 3 times the blood points.
Igen. 3-szoros BP van.
We're going to have 3 times the rift fragments.
So akkor 3-szoros fragmentet lehet majd nyerni.
Very good chance to do it. Then during week 3, we've got 3 times the XP.
És 3-szoros XP lesz a harmadik héten. És itt vannak a mappok, amiket boostolnak. Ezekre jobban fogunk menni, amik abban az évben jöttek, ugye.
The last week and a half we'll be doing double XP and double blood points, right?
Oh, we're doubling down, yeah.
So everyone can play the new chapter. They can get hyped for the Masquerade. They can nab some of the older anniversary charms as well. Is that true?
Exactly. So we want to give people a chance who haven't earned them during previous years, to celebrate the build-up to the event itself by earning, like some really cool Masquerade
mostantól már vannak ezek a bejelentkezési jutalmak, ahogy vége a streamnek.
The event itself. Now that we've tackled Before the Masquerade, the big new thing that is coming for this year's Twisted Masquerade is the reveal of the host of the Masquerade, Trix herself. So players might have seen her hinted at during previous anniversary events or during outfit.
Ő rendezi ezeket az eventeket. What the fuck?
So she's finally making her appearance. And throughout all of the event, we want to make it very clear, like, this is her party. She's everywhere. She's the entity's biggest fan, celebrating, holding this party in its honor.
Mikor kezdődik? Mindjárt elmondják.
Very clear. She is there pushing everybody to engage and celebrate.
I love that. So does this mean we're going to see a lot more of her in the Twisted Masquerade?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of the UI that is themed. You might have seen some last year, so we've done a lot of updating for that. We've got Father Campbell's Chapel coming back with the whole party taking place inside. Some updated content in there to show that the party is progressing or dying slightly. You might find some corpses. Then, in addition to all of that stuff really permeating the game, we've got the lobby, the loading screens.
Minden
You will hear her laughing at you or cheering you on around the exit gates. There's really voice lines that's going to appear everywhere, really accentuating the gameplay. It's going to be amazing.
Figyelni fog minket ugye a rendező.
All of the voice lines that we have had recorded for this. With all that stuff, like we've got a lot of really cool gameplay that I'm going to talk about in just a second. But one thing I wanted to mention is that all of our event gameplay now is going to take place within a separate event queue. So if you want some of the normal DBD, like in the core mode, you can have that. But if you want the event stuff, go over to the really cool event queue and take part of Trix's, Twisted Masquerade.
So mostantól külön is lehet játszani a sima DBD-t is.
It's still going to have a lot of the decorations, so you get the vibe with the core experience.
And that's a really good quality of life improvement over last year, right? Like giving players that option to choose, if they want to just do classic Dead by Daylight, they can with some extra flair on it, or they can choose the event queue. That's
Igen.
nice improvement.
Szóval most külön lesz egy ilyen event queue mindig, nem kell mindig játszani, ha nem akarod.
So Trix is bringing what we call her bag of tricks to the party. She wants to spice things up. She wants everyone to have a lot of fun. So what we've got is that as a match progresses, one of a series of abilities, or one of a tricks, is going to be played on our players. And these are going to be things like giving everybody haste, giving people undetectable, spawning anniversary special chests or totems, some really cool stuff that's going to spice it up. And this is going to happen whenever 2 points are accumulated during a match. So at first I'd say one trick actually takes place at the match start. Following that, whenever 2 points are accumulated from doing a gen, first hook, things like that, which each gives 1 point, that is then going to trigger another tricks to maximum of 5 during a match. So we want to really keep things interesting. And when a tricks is actually activated, you're going to see Trix herself appear alongside or take the spot of one of the dancing marionettes. She's going to even deliver a line that hints at what has been played. So if you're not paying attention, she's going to give you this really cool audio cue.
That's awesome. And so in addition to all of that, I think we're also doing some sort of update for the invitation mechanic.
Yeah, absolutely. So the invitations last year, we had players run around, gather those, and you could either spend it to use an ability while inside a chase, or escape with it to help you earn a mask. This year, there's no need to escape with it to earn a mask. That's a different thing. And we've even added outside of chase abilities to the invitation. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to always be chased by a killer or wants to have a more diverse use for it, we've added that. So survivors can now go into quiet mode. So making a lot less noise and can even do things like quickly enter a locker without alerting the killer.
Ezt most nagyon ráálltak erre, hogy ne legyen ez a lockeres téma, nagyon ráálltak. Ne legyen hangja.
And you don't want to alert them. For killers, they can now use an invitation to immediately send a downed survivor to a nearby hook.
What the fuck?
As I can say from playtests, it's really fun.
I think the community is going to love that. Can't wait for them to play, but also I think there's challenges we've added so you can earn masks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this year, earning all of the masks is going to be related to engaging with event challenges and earning event.
Nem kell majd kijutni, csak így
are going to be earned like this. That's going to be how you earn most of the rewards. And past masks and outfits that were earnable or in the store last year are also coming back. So if someone was not able to get those during previous years, those are all now going to be available inside the store for the duration of the event. And I have to say that we have also a licensed guest showing a mask this year, a Mr. Detective Tap.
Amazing. Amazing. That's so cool.
Look at those masks. Those are fantastic.
Clown, Dr. Hack, Plague, Skull Merchant, Twins.
Good lord.
Deo, Francis, Benson, Renata, David.
Awards. What can you tell us about
És ilyen ízés, láttad? Ilyen fűrészes.
Coming back that we've done and seen huge success with in the past for the event tome.
Már is jöttek az ilyen kulcsok a játékhoz az oldalukon? Allaki.
So people love to play together towards earning things, so we've got a lot of those. So if people engage with the event, work towards those targets with their own milestones, I think they're going to earn some really pretty cool stuff. Also in the event tome is some really interesting lore about the observer discovering Trix's world. So if you want to know a little bit more about her, play those challenges, earn that lore. Then we've got some really cool stuff. I have to say the Twisted Masquerade is one of our favorite collections to work on every single year. As soon as the art team's concepts hit the table,
hát figyelj, 60 euró egy játék, bro.
These days,
a TCM 40 euró.
We love working on this collection. So this year,
ma már 90 euró egy játék sokszor, nem is 60, 70, 80, most már egyre drágábbak.
We have one for Bill Overbeck, another licensed guest making his appearance in the Masquerade, and one for the Unknown, who is maybe trying to blend in a little
De
bit.
jó, hogy Bill kap egyet, genyó. Szétadom. Ez nagyon undorító, de ez nagyon jól néz ki.
Charms and player cards that people can earn.
Aha, finom lett, köszi.
Now, obviously with Taps making an appearance as a reward, there's someone who accompanies him. So if people check out the in-game store during the Twisted Masquerade, they'll be able to find a really cool event-themed outfit for the pig.
Yeah, there it is.
Huge
És a pig is kap, azt a kurva, de jó lesz a fegyvere.
De
jó!
Pig fans were on
Beszarok.
hoping
Beszarok.
Amazing.
Nem hiszem, hogy free outfittek.
Covered a lot. Are there any last presents for the players that we haven't mentioned?
So there's a lot already, but we've got more. So the same as previous years, we're giving out lots of daily rewards to players. So there's going to be lots of currencies, like more blood points, more rift fragments, more areas.
Hát nem fogok sokat félrerakni a nyáron, az biztos.
Huge login calendar throughout the entire event. People are going to be earning stuff no matter what they do. And for the first time, that no matter when the player logs in, we're going to give them enough event currency to get a single reward from the event.
Nice.
So as soon as you log in, we want to get you started and start enjoying the party.
I love that.
Szóval akkor egyet meg fogunk tudni venni.
Thank you, Justin, for your time.
Egyet meg fogunk tudni venni egy skint a bejelentkezési rewardokból.
Just as a note,
úgymond ingyen, hogy játszol.
The game starts June 13th, but the Before the Masquerade event actually starts now.
Akkor június 13, és most kezdődik ez a Before the Event
event. One last thing that was not mentioned. It's all part of this celebration, and it actually ties back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, does it?
Yes. So very, very excited to say that we will be putting some Dungeons and Dragons Dead by Daylight dice, that's a lot of Ds,
a lot,
up for sale in the merch store. You can pre-order it right now. It's not available. You can't get it right away, but you can pre-order it right away. In fact, if you do the pre-order in the next 48 hours, you get a discount. Super psyched about this. There's tons of Dungeons and Dragons fans within the office. I'm sure there are in the community as well. So why not put them together with a cool new set of dice? And that is all we have. Unfortunately, Justin, you're done. Thank you for your time.
I was honestly always happy to be here.
So we're going to toss it now to Dork for our live Q&A, and we'll bring
Na most jön a live Q&A, ez a vége. Ez jó hosszú lett, hallod, ez 2 órás majdnem, nem ez a izé. Most jön a live Q&A. A végén tudok csak válaszolni, srácok, a kérdéseitekre. Látom, hogy nagyon sokat kérdeztek, de egyszerűen nincs idő ezekre válaszolni közben. Meg én is figyelek, fordítok ugye magamba. Szóval nem tudok válaszolni. Majd a végén tegyétek fel a kérdéseket, és akkor válaszolok, amire tudok.
Well, I've been like teleporting all around today. Now I'm over here. So we've covered so much content today. We've been talking about gameplay updates to Dead by Daylight, the 2v8 mode, the new titles, the Dungeons & Dragons chapter, and obviously with all of this content comes loads of questions, which we will be taking the time to answer for you. I say we, because it's me, Dave Rashad, and Justin Brown. So let's go ahead and get started. So for Dave, question 1. In the Dungeons & Dragons segment, you mentioned 2 bards and 1. What does that mean? Are we getting 2 unique survivors?
No. So there is 1 survivor, same perks, but there is a different customization system around this character. So it's similar to what we've done with the Legion. So instead of having like normal head, torso, legs parts, for the bard, we have head and torso in one piece, the legs in another piece, and the accessories. And so changing the head torso piece, you can modify which character you want to be.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Hogy az, mint Legion?
Okay, so question 2. How big
Let's
of an
fiú vagy
impact will
lány.
the Project T Insider program actually have on the finished game? I'll actually go ahead and take this one. We really want this project to meet player expectations at launch, so we want to make an open dev route, and this will allow us to proactively check in with you, our community, and fine-tune the game as we go. We'll be actioning insider feedback the whole time we're building the game, as your input and your insight will be highly considered throughout the entire process. So thank you. Question 3 for Dave. Will we see any existing Dead by Daylight characters in the casting of Frank Stone?
Ooh, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I can say that the game features a new cast of characters. They're original. It's an all-new story, but there are a ton of little things here and there to discover linking to Dead by Daylight for the fans.
Okay, thank you. Now you got a little treat. All right, our next question, question 4 for Justin. In 2v8, you said that there will be classes for survivors, but not exactly for killers. What does this mean, and will more killers be added in the future?
All right, I'll start with the easy one. Yes, of course, there will be new killers added. Each iteration we do after this first one, we strive to add a few more killers as we move forward. As far as classes go, it's something that we're still really waiting for. There's a possibility we do something like a class system, but we're going to wait until we get this iteration into your hands and work with your feedback and see where we take this mode.
All right, thank you, Justin. Question 5. What is the difference between a game mode and a modifier for Justin?
Okay, it's just like what Matt said. A modifier is really something that takes a little piece of a standard trial and sort of adjusts it, like a darkness effect, maybe changing how fast or how many generators there are to do, or random perks. A mode is something that's going to fundamentally change the way the game's played, something really big and all-encompassing, something like 2v8.
All right, thank you. Again, Justin, I got a question for you. Question 6. Can I duo killer with my friends in 2v8?
Absolutely. You can queue up with your friends.
Jóval lehet duozni, mert az izében nem lehetett játszani együtt.
Talk to them and play killer together.
Okay. So I'm super excited for that. That's going to be amazing. All right, our next question. Can we play 2 of the same killers in 2v8, Justin?
No. The easy answer is no, you won't be able to play 2 of the same. You'll be able to mix and match between the 5, but 2 of the same killer will not be available.
Okay. Can you imagine hearing both chainsaws revving? Like, oh gosh, overload. All right, question 8. I didn't get my blood points from grade reset yesterday. Will I get them back?
As a bug.
I'll go ahead and answer this one. Yes, we're working on refunding the missing blood points to players, and you should receive them within the next few days. Really sorry about that.
Pár napon belül majd ezt fixálják.
Can achievements and trophies be earned in the 2v8 mode when it releases, Justin?
The simple answer is yes. There are no specific 2v8 achievements or trophies, but if you're making progress towards one that already exists, like how many generators you have to repair, progress is still made towards those trophies.
All right. Thank you.
Nice.
Question 10. Are there plans to keep 2v8 permanent after some iterations, Justin?
So this is something we're still working out. But I can tell you for sure in year 9, it will not be permanent at any point. It's going to be an ongoing discussion. It's going to depend on the feedback we get from you.
Nem lesz örök, csak ilyen...
The mode is fully ready before we continue those conversations.
Ilyen kevés, hát nem tudjuk mennyi ideig, de nem egy örök mód lesz a 2.8.
Okay, do this for us. So, other than that, what is What the Fog, couch co-op or online co-op only? I'll answer this one as well. What the Fog is online co-op only, available as soon as we find a fix for the website. Really sorry about that, but thank you so much for trying to claim the game right now. All right, question 12 for you, Dave. Is Matt Mercer voicing Vecna?
Good catch. He is. We're super excited.
What the fuck? Valaki rájött.
Life in the trailer in game.
It's awesome, especially having one of the kings of Dungeons and Dragons coming and voicing Vecna. What a treat.
Ha sokat játszunk és szeretjük, szerintem akkor visszahozzák.
Any other questions? Thank you all so much for submitting your questions, no matter where you are watching from, and thank you so much, Dave and Justin.
Igen, meg hogy mennyire bántja a játékot.
Fill this in really quickly.
Hogy mennyire
I also want
hasznos.
to reiterate that we can't share specific plans just yet, as we are still finalizing the last details, but rest assured that as soon as we are clear to do so, we will, and we plan to also push out a public FAQ. So once the FAQ is posted, we'll announce it across all of our channels for your full awareness. Once again, a big thanks to everyone who submitted questions, and we hope these answers were helpful, and we'll be talking more about this stuff in the next coming months. As a last gift for our players, if you're already signed up for the Dead by Daylight newsletter, you'll receive 250k blood points. And if you are not, you can still register until May 15th to get that sweet, sweet reward. And another big thanks once again to Justin and Dave for sticking around to answer all of these amazing questions. And since this is almost the end of our show, we don't want to forget that the PTB goes live in 22 minutes.
Okay, 22 perc és kimegy a PTB.
Eric and Matt here on the couch one more time to wrap up the show with one final surprise.
Na mi van a Shirt My Survivor-rel, tesó? Azt mondjad nekem? A Shirt My Survivor-ről még nem beszéltek. Azt kéne már csak nekünk. Hello.
All right. This is it. This is the end. You've made it to the end of the show. It's been a great show. It's been a long show, and we thank you for sticking with us. We had so much to tell you about, so we had to do it all. But thank you so much. And look who's here to join me on the couch over there.
Hey, Matthew.
Matt, welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Well, nice of you to make it at the end.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I
eventually got here.
Yeah. Well, I was a little late. Had some surprises to work on. It's always something.
That's true. But I think all the surprises are wrapped up for now. Thank you again. Hopefully you'll join us on one of our upcoming streams. We're going to keep these rolling. Maybe you'll join us on one of our upcoming streams.
I'd be delighted.
Be fantastic. And that's it. Thanks, everybody.
De mi van a Shirt My Survivor-rel?
Yes?
I just want to say before we leave, so the people who have been with us until the very, very end, we have one last surprise for you. We like to close the show with a surprise. It's a bit of a tradition nowadays. So this summer, we are going to be welcoming yet another legendary set of characters into the fog.
Na ne szapas.
Dumb and Dumber?
I don't think we're supposed to say that. Featured in over 30 games, an animated series, an absolutely unforgettable soundtrack, and much, much more. We hope you are as excited as we are to welcome into the fog this classic franchise.
Ja, azt, hogy nem mondja el végül. Dracula! Oké, a Castlevania, nem? Tesó! Tesó! Meg vannak őrülve, ahogy meg vannak őrülve. Augusztus 6-án derül ki több dolog. Let's go! Hát mit fog venni a nyár? Mit fog venni a nyár? Megőrültek, megőrültek. Ennyi volt szerintem akkor, srácok. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. GG. GG, hallod? Ennyi mindenről soha nem volt szó. Egyszerű napi streamben, ezt szerintem tényleg mindent felülmúltak, genyó. Konkrétan mindent. Nagyon durva. Szuper durva. Mindent megbocsájtunk? minden lépést megbocsájtunk. Anyám! GG. Hát ez hatalmas volt. Így van, 7-kor PTB egy picit megcsúszott, mert nagyon hosszú lett a streamjük. Egy picit megcsúszott. Hát ez nagyon király volt, srácok. That was very clean. Megtudtunk minden. Na, mi a véleményetek erről, skacok? És sorry, nem tudtam, az a baj, hogy nagyon gyorsan megy ez a stream, akkor nem tudok válaszolni minden kérdésre, és próbáltam most már nem is olvasni semmit a chatről, hogy ne beszéljek annyit bele. Látom itt is bóckodott Bosbod, YouTube-on, de nem tudom átadni, hogy amúgy üzenem Adruséknak, hogy meg amúgy sem egy ilyen rádiós műsor vagyok, de nem tudom így átadni, hogy üzenem Adruséknak, hogy popósok, érted, ezt nem tudom megcsinálni, mert közben meg pofázik a csávó, hogy info, ez jönni, az fog jönni. Ezt nem tudom csinálni közben, az a helyzet. Köszönöm szépen a 100 bitet, szé. Szóval, sorry, de most tudjátok felvenni, most tudjátok feltenni a kérdéseiteket. Hogy mit szerettetek volna, vagy mit nem értettetek, vagy mi, és át is beszélhetjük, mert annyi mindenről volt szó, hogy konkrétan ezt nekem még kétszer meg kell nézzem. Mert annyi minden volt, hogy teljesen megzavarodtam. Teljesen. Logi Reward már van, a 3-szoros BP az már megvan, akkor kiderült ez az új játék, ami PvE lesz, ami nagyon-nagyon izgalmasnak tűnt, és kb. 4-en lehet játszani, ha jól láttam. Szóval a haverjaid, hogyha már nem akarsz izzadni a killerek ellen, vagy éppen a szörvik ellen, akkor lehet menni, ugye bejelentették a 2v8-at, ami nem lesz permanens, hatalmas, óriási, itt vannak a izék. Igen. Most ezek az outfitek vannak, ugye 3-szoros, déli logi reward, hogyha belépünk. Ugye most van a Before the Masquerade event, szóval az event előtt van egy event, és aztán azt mondták, hogy július 13-án kezdődik az event, nem azt mondta? Ha jól emlékszem, de vagy javítsatok ki. A Frank Stone-ról is láttuk, hogy mennyire durván jól fog kinézni, de még mindig nem kaptunk megjelenni. Hogy néz ki ez a Jake itt a fán amúgy? Szóval nem kaptunk megjelenési napot, csak annyit, hogy akkor továbbra is 2024-ben fog megjelenni. A PTB az most fog jönni, mindjárt megyünk PTB-zni, csak még kell várni egy kicsi időt. Még nem lehet letölteni. Mi volt még basszus? Rengeteg. A Vecna, Jézus Mária, hallod, mi ez a killer, tesó? Hát olyan sok képessége van, meg olyan sok változik a képesség, hogy milyen tárgy van nálad, hogy mi a dobókockával mit dobsz, és akkor miért kapsz, és akkor már teleportálni tudsz, meg a mappon is alapból lehet teleportálni. Uramatyám, mondom, mi az Isten? Nagyon durva volt. Nagyon sok minden volt, hogy actually megőrültek. Actually teljesen megőrültek. Kozorja jöhetne a 120 FPS? Amúgy ideje lenne már. Castlevania? Aha, és azt is bejelentették, hogy az lesz az ikonikus cucc, ami majd augusztus 6-án tudunk meg róla többet. Meg ugye akkor a lootok is itt vannak már, itt volt végül Matthew is, úgyis egy csomó mindent kipróbáltunk a PTB-n, rohadt, nagyon sok időt kell majd ebbe beleöljünk. Jungle Dave, te vagy már a Jungle Dave? Ja, a 2.8 az nem lesz végleges mód egyelőre, ha nagyon fogjuk szeretni, akkor igen, de nem tudom milyen hatása lesz az 1v4-re, nyilván nem akarják, hogy a main game módjukat tönkre tegye. Viszont a TCM az most nagy bajba került, mert most a DBD már annyira kilőtte magát, hogy a DBD már nem lehet versenyezni. A szimmetrikus játékban jön róla 15 film, 30 videójáték, ingyen játék, a DBD így fejlődik. Szóval semmi esélyed nincs, hogyha most kezdesz el szerintem a szimmetrikus horrort csinálni. Az biztos, hogy ez így rép. Annyira nagy már a DBD, hogy már csak az árnyékában nőhetsz. Úgy néz ki legalábbis. Ja, sajnos nem mondtak semmit a izéről, pedig nem azt írták, hogy majd az Anniversary Streamen beszélnek egy picit bővebben erről a Shirt My Survivor-es dologról? Úgy látszik, hogy nem. De átverek is nagyon örültetek, aha. Akkor nem FNAF? Nem FNAF bizony. Nem bizony. Téóban, mert megőrültem, kész. Megyek aludni, ember? Jó éjszakát. Majd nem szülinapodkor? Hadd vegyenek a számba, behavior. Hát igen. Megvadultak a tuti, nagyon durván széttolták ezt a szülinapja eventet. Ezt nem tudom, hogy csinálják, már évek óta folyamatosan felülmúlik, és minden streamnek a végén azt mondom, hogy na ezt már nem lehet felülmúlni, és jönnek a következő évben, és megint felülmúlják, genyó. És megint felülmúlják, hihetetlenek ezek a faszik amúgy. Azt mondta, hogy az Unknownnál nem fog jönni idén jobb killer, erre bejomnak egy ilyen veknát tesről, akit így összeszarod magad, hogy mi az Isten. Nagyon durva. Nekem sok minden kimaradt, de gondolom majd vissza lehet olvasni is. Természetesen meg fel fogom tölteni YouTube-ra ezt így, ahogy néztük együtt. Ezt fel fogom nakni YouTube-ra, és meg fogod tudni nézni YouTube-on is. What the fuck, claim, let's go. Aha, majd én is beklémelem. Jól toltad, Mo? Te toltad már jól. Most akkor 2 killer? Nem. 1 killer, 2 survivor, és ugyanolyan, vagy 1 killer, 1 survivor, de ugyanolyan a survivor, mint Legion, hogy eldöntheted, hogy férfi vagy nő akarsz lenni. Mondtam, hogy ne pánikoljatok, mert látom, Adrus már teljesen kétségbe esett, hogy fizetni kell a női verzióért, nyilván nem kell, teljesen egyben van, hogyha a testét cseréled, akkor férfiből nővé fog változni. Szóval, ja. Login Ivard már van Ivard. Vecna STR, új chapter, gigachat, W, meg minden is, W ember, érted, megörülnek a DVD-sek, azt tudti. Még nem tudjuk pontosan, hogy akkor mi ez a Vecna, meg hogy ti mennyit értettetek Vecnából, mert én nem sokat amúgy. A perkeket elmondta amúgy, mert én szerintem a képességeiről beszélt, hogy valami 5 fajta képessége van ugye a spellbookból, és akkor azt a spell, az ugye működik simán, már azt se értettem teljesen, de utána kiderült, hogy amilyen tárgyat te felteszel, az hatással lesz a képességre. Szóval, hogyha szerencsés vagy, akkor nem tudsz szétverni, de nyilván azokat fogja tunnelözni, akik nem a szerencsés szerencsés itemeket szerezték meg, és nem tudnak ellene mit tenni. És ha nem nyitsz ládát, akkor GG. Hogyha megtalálsz, Elite-tel kell játszani, ha megtalálod a szövet az elején, anélkül, hogy lett volna esélye felvennie itemet, akkor GG nyertél. Nem tud ellenet mit csinálni, mert ilyen Uber broken lesz, legalábbis annak hangzott. Meglátjuk, hogy ez hogy fog kijönni, mert ez ugye még csak a PTB, de nagyon izgalmasan hangzott szerintem amúgy. Szóval ezt majd megnézzük közösen, hogy mi ez a Vecna Power, és ja, átbeszélhetjük, mondom nyugodtan, most már kérdezgethettek, és mindenre tudok válaszolni. A sima game is fog update-et kapni most? Nem, most szerintem semmilyen update-et nem kap a sima game. A DBD csoportban bent vannak a perkekben? A DBD csoportban? Mi az a DBD csoport? Perkek már kint vannak spoileresen, ha valaki hype-olódni akar PTB-re? Belinkelhetitek és megnézhetjük amúgy. Komplikáltabb Vecna a Killer Bunnies-nál? Amúgy action nagyon komplikáltnak hangzik, de lehet csak azért, mert még nem vágjuk. Most nézem, hogy beléptem Twitchbe, köszi a szabot. Hufi, szia Jancsi, szia. Killer Clowns Game balra el. Mondjuk az amúgy se lett volna szerintem nagy. Mi az a park? What a survey perk? Na linkeljetek be nekem és nézzük meg a perkeket. Benni, neked is világít a BP-kon? Igen, mert 3-szoros BP-t tudtok, most, hogyha nem PTB-ztek, hanem simán DBD-ztek, akkor 3-szoros BP-t tudtok behúzni. Ilyen nem volt szerintem 15 éve a DBD-be, hogy 3-szorosokat kapjunk. Úgyhogy hajrá, lehet farmolni a pontokat. Mentem BP-t farmolni? Pás? Jó farmolás neked, ez teljesen véletlen volt, elnézést kérek.